Hey friends, welcome to Stacking Pennies. Corey LaJoie alongside Ryan Flores here. Huge show previewing a little bit of Chicago Street Course. We have two Wills coming in. Will Brown, running Colleagues Car, 2024 V8 Supercar champ, as well as the one and only Will Power joining us here in studio as well. Don't miss it. Let's stack some pennies. Let's freaking go.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
Hey friends, welcome to Stacking Pennies. Corey LaJoie alongside Ryan Flores here, back in studio, but you are headed back north to Jersey this week.
I am heading back north. Been up there all weekend, New Jersey. The Jersey Shore in the summer is magical, buddy. But you were back in the saddle this week.
For a little bit, anyways.
Damn it.
I know.
Dude,
the car looks sick.
About time you figured out how to qualify on a speedway.
I think that was, looking back to it, that's the first time I've ever qualified in the top 30 at a speedway ever. That's pretty sad bar.
Well,
That's a pretty sad bar because, unfortunately, nowadays, your qualifying pace at a speedway transitions pretty much everywhere you go.
I wanted to congratulate you
So you should have.
on being in the middle of the largest crash in NASCAR history. Holy moly.
Yeah, before we get there, I thought about that. Like, as I'm wrecking, I'm like, oh man, that Michigan wreck where it wiped out half the truck field and I squirted on through. I'm like, no, this is just how it's supposed to be. Like, you get one, you got to give one back, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, because, man, those guys, Jerry Kelly and that whole 01 bunch, those guys are racers. J.R. Todd, car chief on that thing. Chad Blunt used to be an Xfinity racer back in the day. It's just a group of racers building that thing. Bryce, what's his last name modified?
Bailey.
Bryce Bailey, all those cats that are building that car.
All those guys that work on your race car race themselves.
Yeah,
They're all a group of racers, and I really am excited. Sometimes when I see your team, I wish that you guys ran full time, but they wouldn't be able to because they're all racing themselves, so they can only do part-time deals.
Yeah, so we had good speedway pace. Even qualifying, like down the backstretch, I'm like, this son of a is up on the wick, going good. It's just you can hear the pitch of the motor. Grant, we qualified 25th, but still, that's out qualifying a lot of good teams. And we weren't like trimmed out. They just built a good car that went through the air well and had good power from Doug Yates. So was really looking forward to the race. We started off, missed the balance a little bit to start the race, really tight. And you really do forget how aggressive restarts are, no matter where they are, dude. Like
the whole race.
Like, oh my God, these guys. If you miss a couple weeks, like, you just forget how aggressive you have to be every lap of the race. So it took like the first restart. I'm like, woo! All right, let's give the belts a little extra tuggy because these guys are getting after it.
Welcome to the show, as you like to say.
Yep. So we made a couple changes, got the thing driving okay, and then drove it right to the scene of the crash.
Got us to the scene of the crash.
But we had a good time because we drove down on Thursday, stopped at Schluter Systems Alpharetta store, talked to some of their clients there, a little meet and greet, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and we
White
went to
Schluter car.
Look dialed.
Way. I'm all about white cars. Everybody
dialed.
knows that knows me, but that white Schluter car is sick.
Yeah, it looks sick. And then we went to Mizuno. So Mizuno's been a partner of ours, been helping out with kickball for the last couple of years.
The golf people?
The golf people. They do shoes. They do everything. So they just built what they call the Foundry. It's at a golf course somewhere in Georgia and somewhere outside of Atlanta.
Augusta?
And no, but there's like this massive building with the TrackMaster. Is that what they're called? Like the Shop Master that maps your swing. And they had probably 200 golf club shafts and heads and all the things. Talking about cocking and pulling. This is my time where I get to do that. So they fit me up for a set of clubs as bad as my swing is.
Find a shaft that you liked?
Yeah.
That's good.
The hard ones
I bet you liked
seem to feel the best for my swing. So they're giving me a set of sticks as well. So that was a blast. Then we went to you ever been to the aquarium in Georgia?
Oh, yeah. It's overwhelming.
These guys are in my ear still laughing. It was butts to nuts packed, bro. Talk
Dude,
about sardines at the
like,
aquarium. Like, that was just people.
Did you go to the dolphin show?
No, it was sold out.
Oh yeah,
We got there at like 10:30 Friday morning because we had all day before I qualified. And there were so many kids there. Both of mine were like, dude, I'm over it. We saw the sharks, saw the whales, saw all the things.
The flow of traffic there is built perfectly to lose your kid.
Yeah.
It is challenging when you go there, especially with a couple rambunctious, 5 to 3-year-olds that just want to run around and see everything. It's tough. Did you go to the Coca-Cola spot across the street?
No. I looked at it. The line was like wrapped around the block. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, Atlanta's got a lot to offer, man. It's a hell of a city. And now they have
the best racetrack on the circuit.
Best damn racetrack. It is.
Really is.
You said it yesterday. That is top-notch stock car racing.
Well, forever, short track racing was the best product that NASCAR had to offer in terms of a visual, most exciting, appealing product. If you're going to go show up at the buffet, that's what you're going to go get an extra heaping of. Atlanta's it now. It's the perfect blend of little bit of degradation of asphalt, little bit of tire deg, perfect amount of banking so you're not really dependent on dirty air so much, and it has aged like a fine wine. Now, perfect example. I saw a tweet the other day. There's a lot of dumb ones, but I saw one that was like, race car drivers need to develop racetracks and they need to develop race cars. I couldn't be more opposed to that statement. The league needs to design whatever playing field that it is to make the most amount of money. And to deliver, we'll get there, to deliver the balance of entertainment and competition. Because if you want to go full competition, go to a 410 sprint car race. I mean, you can't get more competitiveness than that. There needs to be, unfortunately, some entertainment value included in that. And Marcus Smith, as we all know, and SMI Group, they ain't scared to go after that entertainment knob and crank it all the way up. But it has now created Echo Park Speedway,
which all the drivers about when it was coming out.
Every single one.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Where were you at on that side of the fence?
So somebody asked about that.
Initial, the initial when they said what they were going to do, where were you at?
Thank God.
Really?
Because I had been there with BK, TriStar, and Go Fast. I mean, you're literally riding on a donkey.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a car that makes no horsepower and no downforce.
So you were on the side of the fence of, thank God this is going to thank God because it's going to help me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not thank God because this is going to make NASCAR better.
No.
Which is, to your point, why drivers can't do it, because Denny Hamlin was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Or I don't mean to pick on Denny, but like a guy that drives for Gibbs or drives for Penske, like somebody that drives for a team whose cars make more grip.
Absolutely.
Right? They're like, no, we don't want another super speedway. We want to have our cars be better than people.
And that's what's hard to decipher when you're listening to these guys, no matter if it is comments on a championship strategy or championship playoff system or tires or cars or anything. The guys with the loudest microphones in the sport are the race car drivers.
If you're a competitor.
But you can't listen to that. When you listen to a race car driver, myself included, you have to take the competitive bias into the equation.
You can't be objective.
You can't.
If you are a competitor, whether you're a crew chief, a driver, an owner, a pit crew guy, a mechanic, you cannot be objective because if you're a competitor and you're a good one, and if you've made it to the cup level, you are a good competitor. You want advantages. You, especially racing people, above any other sport, right? We are always looking for an advantage to sway our way.
Yeah.
Even down to like not having $50 bills in your wall, like superstitions, all kinds of stuff. So you're always little things. You can tell when you speak to a race car driver about something that they go in the back of their brain, how's this going to help me? Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Think about it for a second.
Yeah. It's like, okay, what are my team's strengths? Okay. Yeah, then let me tell you how it's going to be. And you say with enough conviction, anything's right. So, I'll tell you, Marcus Smith had to spend a lot of money in paint this week.
Painting the walls.
Everything was painted. The bathrooms in the
The racetrack looked great.
The suites.
There's a lot of people in the grandstands.
They recoated the floors in all like the suite walkways. They recoated the floors in the garage area. Gray Riley. Know Gray Riley, my buddy?
Yeah, I know Gray.
He works for the paint company that won the bid.
Let's go. Good for him.
It was a good deal for them.
Yeah.
The place looked great. It reminded me of, I told Marcus this, it reminded me of like in NASCAR 2005 EA Sports games where they had like the create like this fictional racetracks like Dodge Raceway and stuff like that. That's what Echo Park looked like. It's like all great. Really branded. So kudos to Marcus of a little bit of a rebrand with the racetrack that was not cheap.
Here's what I love about Atlanta. It is a super speedway.
It's Echo Park.
But here's what I love about Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta.
It's in Hampton.
For the love of God. That's what I don't love about Atlanta Motor Speedway at the moment. That's the only thing I don't like is that.
Way out of the cut.
But good for them for making money. It takes, yes, so it's not like a typical super speedway, because at a typical super speedway, if you miss time your run, or you take a run and you get bound up on the bottom, you pay the price. Where at Talladega, Daytona, you don't pay as much of a price. So the strategy that goes into it, and your car has to turn better, it opens up. So it's a super speedway in the fact that way more people can win. It's opened the floodgates for more people to win, but it's not as much of a crapshoot as a Daytona and a Talladega. I don't know the best way to kind of iterate that, but it's so there's nothing better. I don't know any other way to put it than it's the best. I
saw a lot of people say that Atlanta now is what they wish Daytona is or was, or what it might have been. Now, you're not grip limited at Daytona or Talladega. Handling is not even a factor. Here at Atlanta, you can generate runs by lifting. You can back up to the guy in front of you. You can move around, and you're not worried about the line being so tight that it stuffs a hole if you create one. Where the evolution of this car, right? This car is much less draggy than the previous car, so they have to put more downforce on them at a speedway to slow them down. You can't just take blade off of them and go 200 miles an hour or 215 miles an hour, because the race wouldn't look that much different, because still at Daytona, Talladega, you still would not be grip limited. All it would do is make one fly over in the grandstands. It really would do that because the liftoff speed would be going up 15, 20 miles an hour. So that's the box that they're in at the bigger tracks. I don't know how you make these cars grip limited at a place like that. I don't think you can.
You're not going to.
You're not going to.
Once the toothpaste out of the bottle, you can't put it back in.
Right.
So, but if you watch, even when I got in the sport, 2007, 2008, you'd go to Daytona in July, and it looked a lot like this, where everybody'd start getting tight off of four. You watch the Earnhardt documentary, right? Those guys, the races, if you got to a car at the wrong spot, if you had the lift, you'd pay the price. Now at Daytona, Talladega, you don't, because you're to the wood all the time.
Yeah.
And you're just pushing each other. It looks a lot like what that old school super speedway racing used to be, which leads me to my next point.
Tell me.
What tracks do we do next? Because, damn, we just need to go through half the mile and a half and make them into Atlantis.
So that's the age-old proposition. Where do you cater to the 1,000 people on the competitive side or the 5 million people on the audience side?
Now, everybody's going to say, and Higgy just mouthed it over there, Texas, right? But I would be on the other side and say, Texas is just kind of starting to age well.
Texas kind of sucks.
I think it's starting to age better. But I think there's other tracks.
It ages a little bit. It still stinks.
But what about if you did this to Kentucky or Chicago or something like that, to a place where...
So we actually had a decent conversation at length with Marcus this week about it. I said or asked, is there ever in the future NASCAR, is there a date that can rotate between multiple tracks? A Kentucky, a Chicagoland, like you can make a list without putting too much thought to it, to like 4 or 5 tracks that could, you could probably lose the first day event to a date to a Kentucky or to like another intermediate or something, right? If we wanted to really put some thought to it, we could. But he's like, man, if you spend the money to reconfigure these things or to upkeep them, and it doesn't make financial sense to go to it once every 3 years, it just doesn't make sense, because the property value, the property tax you pay on them, like we've got to park Amazon trailers there just to offset the property tax. So there's so many barriers of entry to just create a schedule that's ideal. And I think NASCAR and SMI are working together now more than ever, but there's still so many variables to jump through. I would love that. I mean, they just repaved Kentucky like 2 or 3 years before they just stopped going all together. So that is a straight loss to the bottom line. Like $10 million.
Too is it's easy to say, hey, this was good, let's go put banking on every track. But just because Atlanta's good doesn't mean if you just add banking to Kentucky or add banking to Chicago that it's going to race the same way. The radius of the corner is different. The length of the straightaway is different. This all is factors when it comes to building runs and the way that the race plays out. So just because Atlanta's great doesn't mean that you can take it and put it somewhere else or make another racetrack like that.
So it's hard to see. It's really,
damn, I'd love if they could.
I know it'd be awesome if they would. What's easy to, I mean, it's self-explanatory when you're out there because cars trying to grip, trying to turn, but so the two corners are so much different where you pick up the banking really early in turn 1, but it really flattens off turn 2, and you can get yourself in a bad aero spot. So that's why you see certain guys wrap the bottom, certain guys try to run the top. And then turn 3, we've seen a lot of different runs there or different lines where guys try to run the very top on entry, then they kind of hit the fence because it's so flat all the way up to like the half mark.
Yeah.
And then guys can just kind of run wide open into the banking and then just let the car figure out what it's doing at that point in time. Yeah, like if you were to create a perfect racetrack with like the same corner radius as both sides, I don't think it would create as much racing because there's enough nuance here at Atlanta where see right here,
like you
the
don't
20 if we're watching on YouTube
spin out like this at Daytona or Talladega. We're watching the videos. Yeah,
so
20 just bust his ass.
He just busted his ass because he's in that spot. Rewind it to the on entry there. So you're already a little bit loose. Back up a bit more. So he pokes that right front headlight out. There it is. So when you poke the right front headlight out, it's the same aero sensation with this car as when somebody was on your door with the old car. It just takes all the side force away because it takes all the air off the left rear diffuser, and that thing will swap ends with you.
Kind of like what we saw with Kyle Larson here.
When was that?
It was 2 years ago where he was running second.
Oh, yeah, and plugged it in the fence for sure. Because you're already on the verge of rear grip, and you're like, oh, man, I'm kind of edgy. And then you poke it out there and lose a little bit of side force, and there she starts chattering, and it goes.
Poor Blaney finds new ways to test the integrity of the safer barriers at super speedways.
I feel like they need to start giving them DAT points. If you hit, that's what they should do. If you wear a mouthpiece sensor and your wreck is over 50 Gs, you get 1 point per 10 Gs after that.
This is the second time. Heading to Chicago this week. Remember when he hit a ton at Nashville and had to go to Chicago street course the first year we went.
That Advanced Auto Parts car, too, likes just absolutely plugging it into the fence.
But it's one of the best paint schemes in racing.
Go. Get down. Tink. Boom. Oof. Large crash out of young Ryan Blaney.
The next video is the big one. I said, you asked me how it started. It started second or third car in line. Everybody kind of got checked
Man,
up.
I've tried to watch it 3 or 4 times. The 42, you still can't tell where it started.
Yeah, did it start with the 11 pushing the 42 up?
I think it started.
Up,
who was the first one to hit the outside fence? Like, it happens so quickly.
I think it was the 7.
Okay, let's see. I
think it's the 7 that's the first one to hit the fence.
Okay, 7's third car there.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, the 11 turned him in the fence.
And then there's just nowhere to go.
You just can't. Well, when you're going straight like that, when you're in the corner and you could see the entire field when you're in the corners because the banking and the cars are going the other way.
Yeah.
So if somebody starts to get out of shape, you can start checking up, look in your mirror. When it happens on the straightaway, all you see is a puff of smoke, and next thing you know, your hood's stuffed up on your windshield.
That's why you see the largest wrecks on restarts too, because everybody's just looking at the car in front of them. They can't see.
That's all you can see. You can't get any sort of
And even if
warning.
you get checked up, the guy behind you or the guy 3 cars behind you doesn't and pushes the whole just drafty car right in here. This was a drafty car wreck.
Yeah, that was
1,000%.
That was dang it. It's a lot of man. It's like, and who knows if he's getting pushed.
This busted some brackets, buddy.
It busted all the brackets. Who's gonna pick Ty Dillon? Oh.
somebody.
Yeah, somebody picked Ty Dillon for sure, but like,
I'm happy that I didn't see people. I might have just not seen it, but if it's out there, don't tell me about it. I'm happy that I didn't see people about the brackets in Atlanta being the first race because.
Oh no, there's a lot. No, there's a lot of people.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of people. Man, it's just like
that's for everybody.
That's like you sit there and your stuff's wadded up and you're like, man, here's mine. Smash, 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 and then the 19. Pow, pow. Wrecked.
I kept going.
I do like how in all the graphics NASCAR uses, they've got the penny behind the number too.
Love that. That's it.
That is it.
You must know somebody over there.
Yeah, big news this week too with TJ Pusher, term sheet signed with Rick Ware to purchase that thing. So stay tuned on that. We're in a little bit of that action.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action.
There was a lot of
in
action.
the garages. Did you see everybody? I think people act like they're not really paying attention to the in-season challenge, but everybody was trying to fix their race car.
Is that what it was for, essentially? Just to like,
I think so.
Okay, it's like obviously, if you wreck, and you're up, and your competitor in your bracket wrecks, like it's a race to get this unit fixed.
Well, no, but even that early in the race, you're like, hey, there's going to be more wrecks. People are going to be out. We got to get our car fixed because if we're 30 down and they're 35 down, we're moving on. And it's also good.
Survive in advance for some people. I'm curious.
That's all this
Higgy is like, did anybody fix their car and then because of that advance over whoever their competitor was?
I'm not sure.
I love a good Ty Dillon. Just Denny catching a stray after a race. He's already back home on his couch, and Ty Dillon's just like, I beat your favorite driver. Attaboy.
One more thing. All you Denny fans out there, I just knocked your favorite driver out.
Hey, can we
Tyrone.
Can I fire off the bracket challenge for this weekend? Or let's save that for spare change this week.
What do we
Let's go through we'll go through our picks for the bracket challenge.
Okay,
we'll do that spare change on Thursday, so tune in. Yeah, but you know what I saw? So we've got another Aussie coming over. Last year's champion, Will Brown, last year's champion in V8 Supercars. He's going to join us today, but I saw that he went to Atlanta.
I saw him before the race, like right before I put my helmet on, and he's like walking by, he like waved at me. I'm like, hey, you still good for Monday? And he's like, yeah.
I'm excited to see I'm excited to see what his perception of all this craziness is and if he likes it as much as we do.
Well, didn't he race last year? Sonoma. Was he in the 60 car? Okay, he was with RCR. Cam Waters was in the 60.
So now he's still out of welcome.
Everybody in the field hit the 60, hit Cam Waters at some point in time during the day. He was like, I felt bad for him.
Yeah. That's part of it.
That's part of it because you know when you're an open car, people just like, there's a spot that I need, and I'm not going to race you next week. See you later.
And Cup drivers are inherently pricks by nature.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's how you get to the level.
Gotta eat.
It's good. It's good.
What else we got here?
So I'll circle back to you real quick just to put a bow on it. We see Chase Elliott.
Let's not put a bow on it because I want to watch the last couple laps.
On one argument.
Oh.
How do we get the question of the week? How do we get this? Is there any way to get this type of racing back to Daytona and Talladega?
No.
Just no.
No.
Copy.
Unless the car started making lift.
Which that's just going faster, and then
just going faster. Yeah.
Copy.
Because then the lift-off speeds go up, right? It's like those cars are so draggy underbody, and they made lift. It's like this combination of like a 1987 Monte Carlo was the perfect speedway car of all time, right? You just can't create that again.
Maybe just put those bodies back on.
just for those races,
Daytona and Talladega. Break it down. Tell me how Clyde won real quick.
So here
popular win.
Here was the move. I was digging through. Pause. Yeah. So this was the move right here. I was digging through some SMT this morning. So the 9 saw he had a teammate coming off forward in the 48 and lifted to tighten up the run to let, like, this started like 3/4 of the corner. He looked up in the mirror, rolled to about 80% throttle to tighten the 48 to him. That way he picked him up earlier in the straightaway and not later. It was like 7 miles an hour difference from the tape coming to the white.
So he lifts.
This is literally the same move I had to try to go on him, but I chose the right rear instead of the left rear. But it couldn't have worked out more perfect for him. just clear enough. And then the 48 obviously did him a solid here by not
Bails
pushing
on the 6.
Yep. That was actually a pretty smart move.
Well, you could tell they've talked about it. This is why everybody talks about the GM meetings, the Hendrick team meetings. They have talked through this. This is what we're going to do with 5 laps to go. This is the situation. We're not going to plug each other 3 wide. We're going to push each other to the lead.
Man, Brad side drafted the line to get second, but the difference between Brad running second and winning might as well he might have well run 32nd. I know if it's a feel gooder to run top 5 there, but that's not going to be. He needs to get in victory lane.
One thing that felt good and that was cool was how excited the fans were, because there's not. Listen, we can all say, "Hey, Alex Bowman's from Arizona. We're all, or where we're all from," but everybody lives here. Chase Elliott still lives in Georgia.
He's the only one,
the son of Georgia. So people were excited, and it's cool. That's like a real home race for him, because, like we said, everybody that. You might be born in California but everybody inherently lives here, and this is their home. So
you could tell it too by his introduction. They love that. They love that son of a bitch down there. Yeah. Okay. All right, we got a big show. We don't want to burn all the good stuff because we got some great folks coming in studio today here for you. But coming up after this, Pit Road Boats and Woes. All right, we're back. Still a lot of show left, but we got some Pit Road Boats and Woes coming up. First up, what do we got?
Got a fire.
Fire!
So, yeah.
Get the fire extinguisher.
Listen, if you spark a lug nut on the left rear, any little bit of fuel you're going to find. They're lucky we've seen this take a bunch of cars out of the race because the left rear kind of starts on fire, and if it's really full, the fuel head just keeps fuel out. To relieve the pressure, and then it lights the quarter panel on fire, and then it catches and it burns all that Kevlar. We saw it happen to Daniel Suarez and a couple different cars, so they were lucky that it went out. Next one.
What else we got?
20 car just merges off pit road. It's got to be challenging, and I wonder what it's like for you when you kind of come out of your pit stall, when you're looking at your lights and trying to get your bearings about where people are around you to leave room, then also watching the guys merging in front of you. How hard is that?
You don't even look in your mirror when you come off pit road.
Really?
Yeah, you're just like, this is mine. I'm taking it. That's why it's important to pick pits down towards turn 1, because you just know when you pull out of your pits, if you got clear one lane, it doesn't matter.
I've said that. I have been. That's a hill I will die on, especially races like this where it's a mixed bag of strategy where some people do fuel, some people do 2, some people do 4.
Yeah.
If you're down in pit stall 40 or you're up in pit stall 1, 5, you can just merge in front of the guy.
Yeah.
It gets even deeper to like guys will pick down there just to do fuel only, and they'll plug in and watch the guys coming and just clear them.
Yeah,
like
out.
We're gonna take as much fuel as we need to get the lead. We're gonna get the lead, and then we'll worry about fuel later.
Yeah.
So you're kind of a sitting duck, but people do like picking down pit stall 40.
What we got here? We got on board with Tyler Reddick here, rolling into the box. Oh,
just got a touch,
man,
just a touch lazy. It's easy to do when there's not a lot of cars on pit road. You just lose a little bit of focus. Fuel only. He's probably on a fuel only. He's probably worried about getting a little bit closer to the wall. A lot of times guys try to park a little bit closer, creep it in the box a little bit so you don't slide your tires. So, yeah, he just clipped one too many.
That's a no-no. Can't do
rules
that.
are rules for a reason. If not, it'd be a lawless nation. What do we got here?
What do we got here?
47 gets a penalty. Equipment interference. What does he do?
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
Front tire.
That's a big deal for front tire changers, and it's not talked
What is
about
there?
enough.
What is he to do though?
So you're not allowed. You're allowed. Let's just get in the weeds a little bit. You got your pit boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pitting in this pit box. Here's the pit box in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
When I roll my right front, I'm allowed to go. The tire is allowed to go halfway into this box.
Okay.
Unless somebody's pitting there.
Okay.
So if you roll your tire and someone's pitting there, even if it doesn't impede their pit stop, they'll usually let it slide. But that's the trap for front changers. It's what keeps guys like me up at night.
Now, is that a little bit of like a flop, like where the rear changer has to like jump like, oh, it impeded my stop?
He jumped over it. Like it didn't slow him down, but NASCAR sees that and they go, hey, you impeded your stop. So that's the hardest situation. That's why your awareness, you have to know where the guy in front of you is running. So I'll be like, hey, this weekend? Hey, where's the 11 running? Okay, he's 15 spots behind us. Okay, so when I roll this tire, I know right when this thing is going to be rolling to the wall is right when their rear changer is going to be jumping. So I can't even risk it at all to get it over there. So I got to take an extra half second, lean over, and get it to my spot. And we see this a lot, right? You're not going to win the race on pit road, but you're sure as hell going to lose it there. So in stops like this where we're waiting on fuel, that's a spot where if you fall in love with that number of right side time, or there's a number of right side release time, just like drivers break down a lap, right? It'd be like falling in love with your corner entry speed.
Yep.
There's a time from when the car stops till the right front is out of your hand, and people are judged by that. And if you push that time, you just risk your tire getting too far one way or the other, and then you got to come back down pit road and you feel shame.
Big shame.
That's what happened.
Big sadness. What do we got here? 7 car pulling in the box.
He says slow stop. I'm not sure what happened. They said maybe a gun issue. So he come around to the left side. Only car on pit road.
Oh, left rear didn't get tight here. Yeah, I saw this. Oh, stop.
Oh, that's so tough. They're doing a Longhorn, which is a left side adjustment too. So the changer is dropping the jack.
Yeah.
It's just, it sucks because you practice for speed, right? And then you go to the racetrack in a place like this, you just have to throw all that out of your mind. Like, if you don't know 100% that the wheel's tight, just don't drop there's no reason to drop the jack. So it wasn't a big deal. It didn't cost them anything. But, man, I'll tell you what, when you're the only car on pit road and you have an issue, you feel like the whole world is watching you. You feel like, you know how you just feel like everybody's like, what an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
That's that's not what people are thinking, obviously, but that's what you feel like everybody's thinking about you. So
yeah, that's how it feels like driving a race car too.
Yeah. Hey, I don't have any dogs this week, but did want to give a shout out to the 9 team. Those guys have been through it. We don't really keep track of pit stops at super speedways because it's just a mixed bag, and a lot of the cars aren't able to pit fast. But I just want to give a shout out to Alan Gustafson. A lot of people have been down Alan,
certified
and
dog.
It's not warranted. He is one of the best guys to ever do it.
Yeah,
and I'm happy to see them get back.
Not only just a nuts and bolts crew chief, but a leader of men as well. Just behind the scenes, always trying to get the most out of his people. Alan is a Hall of Fame crew chief.
Absolutely.
In every metric you want to do it.
He's won with every driver he's ever been with.
Yep. So. And won a lot. So shout out Alan Gustafson. He's a dog. Also, really cool story about the paint scheme on the 9 car this week. Do you know the name? Raylan. Man, to see the whole family go to the front stretch.
That was awesome.
Oh, dude, it was so freaking cool. Also, to see how excited Chase was to win that race.
It breaks that winless streak that everybody started talking about, and it's a home track. It's just, it was a really, really cool story.
The design to drive paint scheme for Atlanta Children's Healthcare. They've been doing it for 9 years with Napa. So.
Yeah, and that was the first time it's won. So really cool, really special moment for them. Thanks for Napa for doing that for the kids. What else we got?
That's it. We got
penny stackers. A lot of penny stackers this week in the infield. Couple flags flying. A lot of people screaming, stacking pennies. So appreciate all that support there. One in particular, Gary from New Zealand, came over just for the race to watch. Says he listened to the show. So Gary, you're a penny stacker of the week, buddy. Congratulations.
Nice.
A lot of New Zealanders on the show this week.
Don't say that somebody from Australia is from New Zealand or the other way around.
Nope.
Because that pisses them off.
We have people from the other half of the world joining us on the show this week.
Down under.
Down under. A lot of people from down under this week. And let's just go ahead and get one of them on. 2024 Supercar champ Will Brown, driving Chicago street race this week. He's in town, stopping by the Nonsense Garage. Will Brown, coming up right after this. Oh, man, been excited for this one. We actually tried to get it going last year, but my man came back for some for some business.
To do Stacking Pennies, and he's going to race while he's here as well.
He's going to, he actually came all over, been here for 2 weeks waiting for this interview, and then he's going to happen to run Chicago next week. Please welcome to Nonsense Garage 2024 V8 Supercar champion, Will Brown.
Let's go.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thank you.
It was funny. I told this story before he came in. It's like Sunday or Saturday night, I'm, buckling in, and you're kind of like locked in, and like in my peripheral, I saw you walking, and you're like, give me a thumbs up. I'm like, hey, you still good for the podcast Monday? And you're like, yeah, bro. Like, I'm coming. Don't worry. Just do your job. Yeah. So I appreciate you jumping in. What do you think? Just in general, United States, Atlanta last week. Let's talk about that first. Is you put out a tweet, said, want to go down to Atlanta and get the full experience, want to tailgate a little bit. So did you find anybody to tailgate with?
Yeah. I was pretty keen to have some beers. I thought I want to go down there and check it out. We don't have the tailgating in Australia where people show up early and drink beers at their car. So I was
Why not?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just never been a big thing. Everyone just rolls in for the race and stays for the race. But
usually
over here,
go for the tailgate and end up just stumbling into the race.
Yeah. So I wanted to go down, check it out, and have some beers with some, local fans. And we put the tweet out. I said to Ainsley, I wonder if we'll get anyone, and got a fair few people keen, and had some Jello shots, had some moonshine.
Okay, man.
I saw that. Plug your YouTube channel. I watched it last night. What's your?
I think Swool TV.
So I watched you guys documented it.
Yep.
My favorite part is after the race, they go to Waffle House. It was closed, and they go to IHOP. And I don't know which one, but they come out and they go, "There's enough calories in this bag for a week." It had me dying laughing.
Or like an American says, just for a breakfast.
Yeah. I feel like I've just been going to the gym just to stay the same weight this week. Just we've been eating. I don't know what we've had. We had what's the one? The burger shop in LA that's really good. In-N-Out. Yeah, that was good. So we've been trying it all out. It's been good.
See, you fly in from Australia
to
LA. Did you spend a couple days out there?
Yeah, we just spent one night there and then travelled over here the next day. Yeah.
That's more than enough. So before we get too far away from Atlanta, what does an Australian brain think when they see something like happen in Atlanta, like the wreck on the backstretch, like that racing in general?
Yeah, that was something we don't see very often, to be honest, in our sort of category. But that was obviously a massive wreck, I'm sure, even in your guys' terms. But it was interesting. It sort of, for me, it took out a fair few of the front guys and that sort of stuff. So it was awesome to see, and everyone loves watching a wreck. But I think it made the race probably, you probably lost a fair few of the front running guys.
Like 20 of them. What interesting stat too, it was like 9 out of the 11 winners of this year were all caught up in that wreck.
Yeah, really?
So that actually made me feel a little bit better of like, okay, if all the good guys got wrecked, I don't feel too bad about my day being early, or ending early rather. But got a big week, man, driving that 13 Colleague hot rod. You were just talking about before we fired it up here about sim time. So you're going to leave here, going to go to the sim. And is it a general V8 supercar thing that guys just get really good at right foot braking, or is that what the cars require?
Yeah, I think it stems back to a fair while ago. Like I remember Roland Dane that used to own 888 Red Bull Ampol Racing, who I drive for now. I was 18 and I was driving in what would be our Xfinity, and I used to left foot brake then. Okay. And he sort of recognized me, and we were going through looking at how I could get a contract with them, and he said, I won't take you on board unless you right foot brake. So there's actually only been one person probably in supercars in the last, I think, about 10 to 15 years that has been quite successful left foot braking.
Who was it?
It was Fabian Coulthard. I believe he would, but pretty much everyone over there, Shane does an amazing job at what he does, don't get me wrong, but everyone over there is right foot braking, heel and towing, and doing that. Shane just does a really good job at how he modulates the clutch.
So we talked a little bit with SVG post-race after Mexico, and they were making a big deal about on the broadcast about how he's like using the clutch to keep rear attachment, and he's like, not like these cars don't really need it so much.
Yep.
What's the difference between these cars, because you drove a Sonoma last year, driving the 33, versus a V8 Supercars? Why does it require more precise braking?
Yeah.
Right foot braking?
I still think you can I still think you can use it a bit in these cars. It just, like, I've been looking at a lot of footage from last year of different guys at Chicago, and you really hear when they go for the down change, the rears start chattering, and you hear that. And hopefully, which at Sonoma, I felt like you could modulate that a bit, is you can try and prevent that from happening and use the clutch to modulate that if you feel that it is locking rears, and just allows you to have more stability into the corner.
And I'll get into the weeds a little bit technically. Does it allow you to run more rear bias and not lock fronts up to go a little bit deeper into the zone and then mitigate your rear lock with the clutch?
I'm not sure so much more rear bias. Like, usually you rear lock into, then you run on, and then you front lock, you know what I mean? So, sometimes, I'm not sure so much if we won't run more rear bias because of it. It's probably very similar whether you're left foot or right foot brake. But it just gives you more stability into the corner. I think a bit better tyre life. You're not chirping the rears and heating them up and locking them into the corner. So it's a lot of that sort of stuff.
All right, we'll zoom out of the weeds a little bit technically because there's so much interesting things to talk to you about. Just the overall excitement of the weekend. I feel like anytime anybody from the VA Supercars comes over, the cars are comparable. Obviously, right side drive to left side drive, but you guys are really familiar with road course or street courses, and that's something the NASCAR guys are not. Everybody saw SVG come in and just absolutely annihilate the field. Is there a little bit of like, I think I can go have a top 5 day here? Like, what's the expectations coming into the weekend?
Yeah, you want to go well. I don't know. It's hard putting expectations on it because I think you saw what Shane did his first year, but then from there, it's not just been easy wins. You know what I mean? Even on road courses. But felt like Sonoma, we were having a good run until we had the things go wrong in qualifying. That we're third in practice, and then had a bit of a tough qualifying. But yeah, I'm probably not going to put a number on it just yet and say. But if we're in that top 10 to start with, and that we'd be very happy. But yeah, it's sort of an unknown for us right now, but it is very similar to what we do in Australia. For us, the road course Chicago is very similar to probably 5 of our race meetings. Like, we've got Gold Coast that is super tight, probably even tighter than Chicago. Adelaide, we run a lot of those road course, street course, type events. So it's something that we're pretty familiar with over there.
Are you hoping for rain or not hoping for rain?
I'd be happy with rain. The only thing is it can lead to, anyone can make a mistake in the rain, especially around a track like that. So we saw last year Shane get taken out at no fault to his own.
On the NASCAR races, it's more like everyone can make it. Not anyone, but everyone will make a mistake at some point.
You just don't want to be that guy. Like,
you just don't want to be that guy that's in front of the guy that misses the brake zone and cleans you out. Like, it just becomes like a little bit of a show at that point.
Dude, our drivers on wet really make it a shit show. Absolutely.
You could tell that they, it's the same. Like Shane was in here. He said that he's going to the summer shootout race legend cars to learn how to left foot brake. And it's the same as for our drivers. It's like, they don't really know how to race in the rain because we've never had to do it. What's like, obviously the driving the race cars is the big thing, but like, what are the other nuances to the race? Like pit road, stuff that you don't have to deal with that you find challenging here that you don't have to deal with in Australia?
Yeah, that's going to be, for me, it's about trying not to get a penalty in pit road, I think you guys call it, because for us, we break into the pit lane, press a button, that limits us to 40 kilometers an hour, like a GT car or anything like that, and then we pull into our pits and our crew's already there. They don't run out in front of the car. There's just little things like last weekend I was watching someone came across too early and I think clipped at 3 boxes, got a penalty. So for me, that's something that I'm not used to in Australia and something that could catch me out quite easily. Driving to the lights down pit lane, where you guys also, if you go around a corner, change to which light you're at. That's just something that you over time build muscle memory to doing it, and you guys are do it every day and not have a problem at all. But for me, it's like, I'll be modulating the throttle, trying to get to the lights. So the pit lane will be the tough part, just making sure, make no mistakes, also not losing too much time there. But that's something where I've sort of had to look into it, try to learn the rules, and
Have you done pit practice?
I haven't. I'm meant to go out to Trackhouse, I think, on tomorrow or the next day to do pit practice, so should be good.
I'll be interested to see if you're as freaked out as Shane was when everybody jumped in front of you for the first time. He's like,
he's
like, oh!
What the hell are these guys doing?
Last year when I did it with RCR, when I did Sonoma, I had to just, I think Shane told me just block out that they're there pretty much, just drive in, hit your marks.
Doesn't
and all
make
that.
me feel good about my job.
Yeah, don't worry about that front changer. Kind of a prick.
Yeah, I know. I felt like if I was concentrating on them too much, I'd just brake too early and
Yeah,
sort
just
of
hit the
stuff it
sign,
up.
man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
So I didn't find it too bad.
I know you got to go hit the sim here, but I'm going to ask you 3 questions that I ask all the guests. And I appreciate your time today. If you had to pick one race car and one racetrack to race at the rest of your life, can't drive anything else at any other place, what do you pick?
I'd probably be boring and go Bathurst in a supercar. It's pretty phenomenal.
What year, like the current supercar?
Or no, I'd probably go our last one, like a 2021, the Gen 2 car, a 888 one round Bathurst for a shootout. Our shootout, 10 cars make it. That's what I'd go.
Is that like I've probably watched the video of Scotty Mack qualifying like 7 times.
Yep.
Is that like, that's the year, that's the car? Yep.
And it's just, I don't know. You go to Bathurst, you got to risk it a lot to get pole round there, and the undulation and the elevation, how short the lap is for how much elevation. It's a wild track. You got to go and walk it to understand.
You ever
it.
seen the in-car camera when Darrell Waltrip went and was riding in that car?
Yep.
Hickey put it up on the YouTube clip. It is awesome, dude. Yeah. Darrell Waltrip just screaming for bloody murder driving, and he's on the left side of the car. I don't know who was driving it. All right. What's your most embarrassing moment at the racetrack?
Most embarrassing moment at the racetrack? I was on film and I put my balaclava on backwards. Didn't notice.
No!
I'm like, why can't I see out of this thing?
Trying to lock cool for the camera.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so
where can we find that, actually?
I'll have to find. No, I'm not going to give it to you.
All right, last question. Have you seen the movie Men in Black?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I feel like I have.
I got to preface this question for anybody under like 30. So in the movie, they have a pen that zaps your memory.
Oh, yep.
It's like you forget about what just happened, right? So if I had that pen and I zapped your memory, but you only could keep one racing memory of your entire life, what do you keep?
2021, my first win. I was a rookie. It was Shane and Jamie Whincup behind me. I was driving for probably like a mid-pack team, and we sort of undercut them, and the 2 Red Bulls were fighting behind me, and they caught me with 2 laps to go, but I was able to hold them off and win my first race, so that'll be it.
Where was it?
It was at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Hey.
Yeah.
Dog.
Good race, yep.
But I love it. I wish you luck. I think you're going to haul ass this weekend.
Thank you.
Shout out sponsors. Who's on that thing? You got a couple on your shirt?
So we got Mobile X, the main one. So that's Peter Adderton. So he actually founded Boost Mobile over here.
Okay.
He's an Aussie guy. So him, and I've also got Shaw and Partners, which is an investment company, but they also own I think it's about 30% of our team now at Red Bull Ampol. So they're sort of supporting me to come over here and do a bit more racing. So got them on board, which is awesome.
Love it. Well, I wish you luck. Everybody from Stacking Pennies, follow along Will Brown's journey this weekend. Where do they find your YouTube channel? Also, social media, Instagram, all the things.
Yep, all that.
There it is.
Awesome.
13 car. Will Brown. I'm gonna give you a prediction. I'm not gonna put any pressure on you, but I think you can run top 5.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't take no shit from these guys. They're gonna try the Cam Waters. Everybody just ran into it, so no shit.
I know. I felt bad because I was one of them. I run all over him.
He's one of them.
I'm not racing this guy next week. Pow, pow, pow.
That's right.
Just know that's how they're thinking. So have the same thought. You don't have to. They're not coming to Australia to race you. So
do it, dude. Yeah. Don't have any regrets. Just get after.
I accidentally turned Truex Jr. at
He's
Sonoma.
gone too. You don't have to worry about
He's gone too.
Yep, he's all fishing somewhere, so you're in good shape.
That's right. All right, more Stacking Pennies coming up. We're going from one Will to the next. Will Power coming up right after this. Oh man, guys, been working on this one for a while. SVG, Scotty Mack, they've been in here. They've been friends of the show. I was like, man, how can we get Will Power on the show? So Scotty Mack connected us via text message. So please help me welcome to Nonsense Garage, 2-time IndyCar champion, Indianapolis 500 winner, Will Power.
Thank you.
Welcome, buddy. Welcome.
Thank you.
You come in the door, you're like, "It's the first time I met." And I said, "Man, I've met you a couple times in passing. You wouldn't know who I am, but obviously we know who you are, buddy, because you have been a staple in the IndyCar garage for several decades. So I appreciate you coming in today."
Yeah, no, thank you. I love the show and stoked
don't
to be
blow
here.
smoke up my ass. I know you don't have to listen, but we have had a big Australian day today. Will Brown joined us on the show. driving for Colleague Chicago Street Race this week, and then naturally it just all timed out. We didn't even plan it like this, but come to find out, you guys are neighbors.
Very close.
In Brisbane.
No,
Or
Toowoomba. Toowoomba.
Okay.
And you both have the keys.
We both got the keys to the city.
He didn't
What
tell
have you
us
done
what,
with your keys?
Yeah, he didn't tell us what the keys did.
You get into any bar anytime.
Let's
no,
go.
I don't know. But it's just a nice
Plaque.
it's a plaque. Yeah, I got the keys to Mooresville.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I won I can't remember if it was the 500 or the championship, but they gave me the keys to the city of Mooresville.
Sick.
That was really cool because
You got a little key ring going on with a
know.
couple different
Yeah, I
types.
can get into any sort of. You can get in anywhere. So.
Like Saeed's.
Yeah.
2 towns
Yeah,
away from being a
Saeed's.
janitor.
Oh yeah, I know. I've heard it. I've never been to Saeed's.
What?
Never been. No, I've heard
He's
about
kind
it.
of got that twinkle in his eye, though. He might have stopped by once. No, never.
No, I've never been there. I haven't. I should. I was too far for. I'm in Troutman.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a little bit too far.
it's too far to walk if you know.
Don't go now. It used to be really cool. And it was
Isn't that?
nasty.
Doesn't the baby live up there? Do you live in?
He lives very close to me.
You and DeBaby are neighbors?
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, the whole neighborhood talks about DeBaby.
You ever seen?
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't think you probably see like a Lamborghini or something rolling by. That he's leasing, but yeah, nah, he's got like a full wall, like a
guard shack. And
guard shack. Yeah, so
Do you need a guard shack up at your place?
Yeah,
In
nah.
No?
Try to stay real low key, you know.
Well, first, I don't even know where we can go a million different ways, but let's talk about this year first. It seems like, and I wish I could follow IndyCar more. I mean, I would say that I'm a fringe fan, right? I respect how hard those cars are to drive, and just no matter what discipline you are, you got to respect anybody at their peak level of their sport. Now, I forgot where I was going to go with that, but it is a Kyle Kirkwood, Alex Palou season right now. Those two guys haven't lost a race.
No.
Why?
Really?
It's I've never seen it in my career where two people have won the first whole half of the season. Like, yeah,
It's unbelievable.
The first half of the season, there's only two people have won.
Holy
Palou's
crap.
won 6 and Kirkwood's won 3. Yeah, amazing, man. Like, Chevy hasn't won a race this year. There's 2 manufacturers, Honda and Chevy.
I know.
Yeah.
And we haven't won a race. Penske hasn't won a race. So
Now, how much of that is like, I'm not really a big believer in luck, right? Because preparation meets opportunity. But is it like a little bit off on simulation? Is it unload speed? What is it that Honda has that Chevy might not?
Man, it's so close. Like, if you just have like a 1/10 swing in engine performance, it's a big deal in our series because, you know, often 2/10 covers 10 cars on a road course.
Yeah.
So if you just have a tiny bit out of every corner, it's almost difficult to see on the data. You know, I think team and driver engine combination is putting it together. You know, Palou is just exceptional.
You probably had to just like reconfigure yourself so many times because Indy cars, they have changed in 20 years, and they just announced that they're going to have a new cars at 2027,
28,
2028.
Yeah.
So like we've seen it with NASCARs. Like everybody, we've made these incremental steps in bodies and all that, and then COT car, and then we go to the next gen car, and there was a lot of guys that were great that haven't been able to keep up. So that work of figuring that out, guys eventually don't want to get back on the horse and just kind of reimagine themselves. It's interesting that the competition has driven you to want to keep.
Yeah, you can't get stuck in a specific, let's say, driving style, or, you know, I only like it the way it feels like this. You know, I'm very good when it feels like this. You're only going to do well when it feels like that, which isn't very
It
often.
only happens once every 3 years, maybe.
Exactly. You've got to be able. You've got to have a wide range of driving styles, or, you know, feelings that you like about the car, or understand how to extract the most out of it. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is knowing what makes that car fast. It may not feel comfortable to drive, but that's the fast way. You know, and that's, I think Palou in IndyCar is really nailing that very well. He knows what it means, because you can get a car that's really well handling, but you're you're in the wrong setup philosophy, because the IndyCar, obviously you can add a lot of
weight jacker.
Like, aerodynamically you can make it turn a lot, or you can do it mechanically. It's a massive adjustment, and you can be on the wrong side of those and have a good handling car, but you'll be slow. So it's really understanding what you need from it, which is forever changing as well.
You can be uncomfortable or you can be slow. You got to pick one.
Yeah, that's what Tart says all the time on the NASCAR broadcast.
We talked about it earlier because we were talking about Atlanta, the reconfiguration, how great the race was, how much the drivers hated it when they first came about, and we saw it a lot when they built this new car, just drivers having hands in it. You're the veteran guy in probably the garage for what they call the paddock in Indy. How much did they rely on you for, like, how much input did you have on this new car? Like, this is what I think.
Well, they did. They didn't really ask the drivers too much. I think their key was to knock weight out of it.
Yep.
I drove a champ car in the off season. A car that I raced in 07, and it was almost 400 pounds lighter. For us, that's a huge percentage of a car that weighs. We're about 1,800 pounds now. That thing was in the 1,400s.
Wow, which is crazy.
And it had more power, and about the same downforce. But man, that was
acceleration, power to weight,
pretty cool.
Did the weight stuff come from safety?
Safety. You're adding like panels to the tub. You're adding the windscreen. You've got the MGU, the electric motor now, so the hybrid, which was another 100 pounds. Just added up, kept adding up safety stuff, and it's not bad. Like, the young guys complain about the weight, but it's still four-wheel. It's still a machine you got to get the most out of.
Right.
It's still an open wheel car. It's still fun to drive.
Have you ever thought about jumping in a stock car? NASCAR aspirations.
Yeah. I'd like to do an oval just to feel it. Obviously, it'd be very tough for me. It'd be so different.
You've won on a bunch of ovals, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, just the car. Like, it'd be so different. I think. I'd like to try it.
Have you never been like, hey, Roger, come on, let me?
No. I'm just trying to keep my current ride.
Same.
Yeah, I have. I mean, it's got to make sense from it. They're not going to put you in a car just to have fun.
Right.
It's got to be.
It's expensive.
Exactly.
Have you ever been close to getting like a call if somebody was going to miss a race or?
Actually, someone sent me a text recently, asked me what I'm doing Portland weekend. I can't remember the team. It would have been for Xfinity, right?
Yeah.
I would do that. Yeah, I love NASCAR.
Damn, I wish you were in that 22. I changed tires on that 22 Xfinity car for like 5 years, and we had a bunch of people coming. That was a blast. That would have been a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I would do it. I've been very focused. I had outside opportunities, but just stayed in my wheelhouse and focused hard on trying to win IndyCar races and championships and do the absolute best at that, and not sort of spread myself thin in any way. But I would love to do a race in a NASCAR, even as a truck. Just go and do a race in a truck.
Where's
on
the
an
truck
oval.
driver now?
Yeah, I'll make some introductions. You drive mine every now and then if you want to. You can
man, it looks awesome. Looks so much fun.
How do you quantify success of a career? Because I think some of a common trait from the majority of guys who do it at a high level, there's no contentment for what you've done, and it's hard to quantify what success is. How do you quantify what success is?
Yeah, that is a good question. At what point are you content? You never are content. You always wanted more, but I think you got to reflect on everything you've done. And for anyone that makes it into racing and has a career is a success story in itself. It's. I'm at that point, where I know I haven't got that much longer, and you get to this point, you're like, oh man, I need to do this, and this. But I would say if I didn't win the Indy 500, it would have been very disappointing for me, to have won so many races and had won a championship. Probably in that decade that I won the 500, I won more races, more poles, led more laps than anyone. But hadn't won a 500. So I remember thinking leading up to that, like, man, started to get a little bit down about it. Every time I turn up there, I didn't win. But winning that was a big deal. Winning another championship in 22 in my 40s was a big deal.
Yeah,
and a very, very tough field.
Coming up, Colton Herta, Paddle Award. You're like, I know, watch out.
yeah, it was a really cool season. It was sort of a mental reset and a very calm approach. But I've been lucky. You know, if it stopped now, I would be satisfied. I mean, you always want more. That's life. No one has a perfect life ever. So yeah, it's there's always guys going to have more and be better, and
there's a hell of a lot of guys that have less too.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way it is. Everyone has their path, and they're all interesting.
Yeah.
They're all interesting in their own way. The way people make it, you know, someone who never wins a championship or a race has as an interesting story as someone who won 6 championships. You know, it's just, it's cool. I love hearing people's stories. People who have just, I think some of the superheroes of the world are single mothers or single fathers raising like a couple of kids or something by themselves. I mean, that's tough life.
Oh yeah.
And nobody's going to ever know what they're doing, right?
No one knows what they're doing.
Nobody
Like, yeah, you
celebrates
see
it
these heroes, you know, people, you know, media and so on create heroes, but man, everyone has their own path, and I respect them all.
Love
Fire
that.
me up. Yeah.
Love that.
Well, great conversation.
Yeah, we
really
could talk all
appreciate
day.
coming
I think
in.
we could bench race all day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you could hear this entire interview on YouTube. If you're hearing little snippets on just the episode this week, go to the YouTube channel and listen to the whole thing. So much great stuff. Will Power joining us on Stacking Pennies. Thank you, and good luck the rest of the year. Break up that damn Kirkwood and Pillow party, will you?
Oh man, that's a goal.
What's next week?
Deal.
Sorry, I don't know.
It's Mid-Ohio this weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You've won there?
Winning, I have. Yeah. Things would help me a lot if I won a race right now.
Winning
Big time.
solves all.
It does, big time.
Yes, it does. Well, everybody
Yeah.
follow along with Will Power this weekend at Mid-Ohio. Thanks for stopping by Stacking Pennies. All right, let's land this plane. We got some penny for your thoughts questions. What do we got?
Oh man, first one. Name your child's middle name after a racetrack. Which racetrack are you choosing?
Charlotte.
Oh.
Yeah. You?
Watkins
Wall.
Glen. Wall Stadium.
It probably wouldn't be Wall.
I think
Yeah.
Bristol's the most probably used one.
It's probably been a lot of kids made in the campground.
Oh,
Bristol,
could be.
so that probably
That's a hell of a question.
it is. I like that question. Enrique Marquez thinks.
Track day with any driver of all. Oh, you know what I name it? Autodromos Hermanos.
Autodromos Hermanos Rodriguez.
Yes, that's where I'm going. Yes, just to really throw them off.
I'm ashamed to admit that I thought that it was one guy. Did I tell you this?
Yeah, we talked about it on the show.
Yeah, I thought it was one guy.
Maybe
His
I'd
name
go
Hermano.
Cirque de Jacques Villeneuve.
Circuit de Jacques Villeneuve.
Track day with any driver of all time, any discipline, any track.
Okay.
And you get to learn from.
Okay. Great question. Any driver of all time? Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna go Spa with Senna.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Spa with Senna.
Yeah, I'm more of a
F1
redneck.
car, like the McLaren Honda engine, H pattern, wing tips.
I think I'm going a way different direction.
Do it.
I think I'm going Knoxville with Steve Kinzer.
Oh, sick.
Dude, I think that'd be a hell of a day, too. Either way.
The catch fence isn't high enough for you to drive a 410 sprint car,
probably
bro.
set a
You'd
new
end
track
up,
record around there.
Yeah, right. Track record for height as your sprint car augers out of the ballpark.
Not if I have Steve Kinzer teaching me.
Yeah. No, we have a new high jump record. Ryan Flores in the 410 sprint car out of the ballpark by himself.
I have a good LaJoie seating seat in there, though, so I'd be just fine.
Oh.
Pull the backup out, boys.
Yeah, talk about backup. Man, Ron Capps had a big shunt this week. Gosh.
He just got wrecked coming to the green.
Yeah, man.
That was tough. Him and Sammy. It's like, guys, this is for charity. What are we doing?
It's for charity, and you guys are 100 years old. You can't crash like this.
Not that old. I think it was Levi Jones just turned him. He ended up winning the race, so it worked out for him. But, yeah, that was tough.
Tough.
Really cool stuff going on at IRP with the midgets, but I was bummed to see Ron get wrecked.
I know.
That was a
he was
bummer.
all right. I texted him. He said he was a little bit sore. But glad Ron's doing okay. Couple shout-outs.
Brad Keselowski's 4th top 10. They'll find victory lane sooner or later. Ty Dillon, we talked about him. Another top 10.
Mini Mike right now. He looks like a Mike Dillon.
That's
awesome.
his first top 10 of the year.
Yeah.
And he
but overall, having a pretty solid season out of that.
Colleague in general.
Yeah.
Zane, dude, Zane finished 7th. I'll tell you what. I've
didn't
been working
back
with
his way
Zane
into
for like 8-10 weeks now. He's a dog.
He's a good driver.
He's a damn race car driver, and
Yeah,
I
he
think
is.
that he is going to have a really good career. And I don't know that his stock's high enough. His stock is rising. If you were going to put any of your money in the driver stock market, I'd say Zane is a good buy right now.
He's a Tesla.
Yes, I like him.
I agree.
Another guy whose stock's going to be high, Zilich. He runs 11th. He was up in the mix. Kyle Bonsignor, not Justin. Kyle.
The cousin.
Cousin Kyle.
Snap-on guy.
Snap-on guy in Iowa? He lives in Iowa? But, yeah, he won the modified race at White Mountain Motorsport Park. Corey Heim figures out how to win, not how to lose. They have been – thank God they find new ways how to lose because they'd win every race.
They will legitimately win every single week.
But they deserve to.
He passes Matt Crafton on the all-time wins list. What's he like, 6 or 7?
That team is strong.
Yeah.
That team is strong. That's one of the most dominant – that's like as dominant as the Winn-Dixie 60 car.
That's the Chad Knaus, Jimmy Johnson 48 Cup cars, what that is.
Yep. And Connor Hall wins the first race of the Virginia Triple Crown at South Boston.
Why'd you skip over that guy? Because you can't pronounce his last name.
Thomas Annunziata.
Okay.
Came from the back on a first lap spin in the ARCA race, and he won that. Thanks for calling me out on that. Thanks for keeping me honest.
You're welcome. There was a little bit of spat on social media between Rodney Sandstorm, a.k.a. Jordan Taylor, and Chandler Smith, I believe.
Oh, I saw that.
Love a good little talking session on social media.
It was subtle, too.
Yeah.
I think the IMSA guys, like the sports car world, they're a little bit more crafty with their talking.
Yeah.
Like, he said something to the effect of, it was a really good truck, and it had great brakes, enough to stop
Chandler Smith's car.
Chandler Smith as well, which was subtle jab. Going to Chicago, you're not going. You're staying home.
I got to go Sunday. I'm going to go one Sunday morning and back Sunday night.
What, you shaking hands, kissing babies? What
Yeah, I'm going to go shake some hands, kiss some babies with Hilton Grand Vacations.
Awesome.
And it's also one of the coolest events of the year, man. Hopefully, I hope for Julie Geezy, president of this whole Chicago race, just 1 year, give her some nice weather. Jesus. The first 2 years, she has went over and above to try to make this event what NASCAR wants it to be and what it really has been. Unfortunately, she's got monsooned on twice.
Yeah.
So year 3, dear Lord, give us some good weather in Chicago this weekend.
Unless you're Will Brown, he wants it to rain.
Unless you're maybe a little
Or
bit of a
SVG.
sprinkle.
Sprinkle tires.
Bring out the sprinkle tires, and let's just park this plane. We got things to do today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is Stacking Pennies. I'm Corey LaJoie alongside Ryan Flores. Spare change later this week. We're going to tell you about our brackets that were busted last week. We're going to reset them for the new picks this week. 16 guys going for 8 spots. Chicago Street Course. Have a great day. Keep stacking pennies. Goodbye.